Hello, welcome back to another Sunday School Bible class. Today's lesson is entitled God's Call to Moses for a Mission That Would Change the World. We have been learning about the story of Moses. As a male child, he was spared the death at the hand of the Egyptians because his mother put him in a little basket in the river, which was discovered by the Egyptian princess, who hired his real mother to take care of him until a certain age, when he was then handed over to the princess and raised as an Egyptian prince. At about 40 years old, Moses had to flee Egypt because he killed an Egyptian for hitting a Hebrew. Moses went to the quiet land of Midian, married a woman named Zipporah, and had 2 sons, and was content to live a simple life as a shepherd, which he did for the next 40 years. One day, as Moses was near the mountain taking care of his sheep, he noticed a strange sight. He noticed that there was a bush burning, and yet the bush did not burn up. He decided to have a closer look. As he approached the bush, God spoke to Moses out of the middle of the bush. God told Moses to remove his shoes because the place he was standing was holy ground. God told Moses that he was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God told Moses that he had seen the suffering of his people in Egypt, and he was going to deliver them from the Egyptians and bring them to the land of Canaan, which was a good land, the same land he had promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God then told Moses that he will send Moses back to Egypt to bring the Hebrews from Egypt to the land of Canaan. "But who am I, Lord, that I should go to Pharaoh and that I should bring the children of Israel out of Egypt?" Moses said. God assured Moses that he will be with him and that when they come out of Egypt, they should come to this same mountain. Then Moses asked God what name he is to refer to God when he tells the Israelites that he met and spoke with him. God told Moses that he is to refer to God as I am that I am. So when Moses talked to the Israelites, he is to say that I am hath sent me unto you. God then told Moses that Pharaoh will not listen to him, and when Pharaoh refuses to listen to Moses, that God will stretch out his hand and smite Egypt with all kinds of signs and plagues which are like disasters, and after that, Pharaoh will let them go. Moses told God that the Israelites will not believe him. God then demonstrated to Moses the type of miracles he will do by telling Moses to throw his rod on the ground. When he did, it became a serpent, and Moses was afraid of it. Then God told Moses to grab it by the tail, and when he did, it became a rod again. He then told Moses to put his hand inside his shirt and pull it out again, and when he did, it was covered in leprosy. Then he told Moses to put his hand back inside his shirt and take it out again, and when he did, it was normal. God told Moses how he would turn water to blood so that the Israelites would believe him. Then Moses objected that he was not the right man for the job because he was not eloquent in speech, and God assured him that he would help him, but Moses still begged God to send someone else. God was getting angry at this point and told Moses he would send Aaron, his brother, with him. God told Moses' older brother Aaron to meet with him and go with him to Egypt to help Moses. When Moses and Aaron got to Egypt, they met with the elders of Israel and told them how God had met with Moses and how God had promised to deliver the Israelites from Pharaoh and take them to the promised land. The elders of Israel were very excited and thought that they would be freed very quickly. God, however, had a much longer process in mind, something that would be far more impressive for both the Israelites and the Egyptians, so that everyone would not only know how powerful God was, but that he was the only true God. he did not want anyone praying to any idols or statues of anyone or anything, thinking that they were God, that they had power. When people pray to idols or statues of false gods, it is called idolatry. By showing his power over everything in the earth and heaven, in Egypt, God would prove to everyone, both Egyptian and Hebrew, and anyone else who was there, that he alone had ultimate control of everything. God could have freed the Israelites in a minute by killing Pharaoh and the Egyptians, but he planned to free them instead by having a long contest between him and all of their false gods to prove to all that there were no other gods but him. Watch what God did and how he proved himself to not only the Egyptians, but even the Israelites, just in case they started to believe in many gods. God was going to show them once and for all there were no other gods but him. Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and told Pharaoh how God had met with them and told them to tell him to let his people go. Pharaoh said to Moses, "Who is the Lord that I should obey his voice and let Israel go? I know not the Lord, neither will I let Israel go." Well, Pharaoh was about to find out who the Lord was. However, Pharaoh got angry that Moses told the Hebrew slaves that God was going to set them free. He said that more work should be given to the Hebrew slaves so that they should not have time to listen to the promises from Moses about being free. Therefore, Pharaoh commanded that the Hebrews not be given any straw to make bricks. Yet the Pharaoh commanded that the Hebrews make the same number of bricks, even though the Egyptians did not provide them with the straw to make the bricks. The tally had to be the same number, or he said they would be beaten. That was his command. Now the Israelites, or the Hebrews, got angry at Moses and said he made things worse for them. They said he should have left them alone so that they could have served the Egyptians and not been given more work. So Moses went to God and told God that things have gotten worse. God spoke to Moses and told him that now he would begin to perform his mighty acts so that all the Hebrews and Egyptians could see his power. God then told Moses to go to Pharaoh again and cast his rod on the ground, and it will become a serpent. However, God told Moses that Pharaoh's heart will be hardened and he will not regard the miracles or let the Hebrews go. When Moses performed this miracle in Pharaoh's presence, Pharaoh called for his magicians, who did the same thing with their rods. However, Moses' serpent swallowed up their serpents, but Pharaoh still would not free the Hebrews. When we come back, we're going to see the many mighty miracles that God did in Egypt in our next few lessons. This event is referred to in the rest of the Bible, so you don't want to miss these lessons. See you next time. Bye-bye.